what's called a Dutch Reformed church, so very much like a Presbyterian church. And back in South Africa, we didn't have nurseries. That was something new for us when we came to the US. There was what was called the mother's room, and it was very clinical. It was behind a one-way mirror, kind of a window, so the moms could see the rest of the church having a wonderful time and actually hearing the sermon. And inside that mother's room, it was chaos and noise and crying babies and poopy diapers and all of that. So nothing like what you have. So all of us grew up either in the mother's room while we were still being nursed, or next to our parents on a really hard church bench, from about 3 years up. So I probably still have permanent bruises on my ribs from being elbowed to, not move and not basically breathe in church. That's how I grew up. So I have such empathy with you if that's going to be your struggle. Now, first of all, children's ability to sit still when there's nothing for them that they really understand and that's on their level is not a realistic goal. So here's the great thing. You can decide whether noise or movement would be the most disruptive, because you're going to have at least one of the two. So mostly movement is okay, but noise not so much. Most people who are going to share the church sanctuary with you wouldn't mind a child, getting up on to a seat and getting down again and maybe rolling around on the floor a little and getting up and clinging to you and repeat. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to go with a child who moves, because that's going to keep them less disruptive, but who is pretty quiet. Now, I suggest packing activities and a snack for your child for each church service. And here are the kind of things that I would encourage. First of all, something that's really tactile. So that would be a Play-Doh or a squishy toy that doesn't have a squeak in it. Or it would be something like moon sand, or it would be sticky tape. And something really, really useful is one little sheet of stickers. I'll explain in a minute. So something really tactile. Kids need to be occupied with all of their senses as much as possible in a situation like that. Otherwise, they are going to talk and run and do something else that will get sensory input. So you want something that's really, really sticky, really squishy, really fun to play with. The other thing you would want to pack is a book on their level and something to draw with on their level. But then you don't introduce that the moment you get into the sanctuary. And here would be my tip, is to get into the sanctuary before everybody's in there. Because you don't want to have to shush your children the moment you walk into church. You want them to walk in, run a little bit, be able to explore, say hi to a friend before it gets to that point where we need to sit down and be quiet. So let them expend a lot of energy. If you're not able to make it on church early enough to have that luxury, then try and get rid of the energy on the way to church. That means on the way to church, we scream, we sing, we hop up and down in our baby chair, we do everything we can to get rid of as much energy as we can. So have something like a tambourine or a little drum or something else that makes a lot of noise in the car that they can bang on and scream along with as much as they like on the way. Get rid of that energy so that by the time they get into the sanctuary, they're kind of worn out a little bit. And then another way to calm them down just as the service begins. Now the worship is great. Let them do whatever they need to do during worship, and when that kind of comes to a halt, squeeze them. Because just the action of holding a child and giving them a big hug, number one, tells them, wow, this space where we are with God is a space of love, and you're so welcome in this space, and I'm so glad you're with me in this space, which is a very important spiritual message for children who grow up in church, that this is a place of love, not just a place of shush and sit. So that's emotionally important, spiritually important, but then also physically important, because when you squeeze kids, and I would really put them on your lap with their back against your chest and have them pull up their little legs and arms, and you roll around them and you squeeze them into a little tight ball, and you can even do that 2 or 3 times. That calms down most children's bodies from head to toe. So they're likely to just sit there on your lap for quite a while. When they wiggle the first time, I would do it again. I would just And I would whisper, I love you, and I would just squeeze them again. And I would try this as many times as they would allow me. And when I can tell, okay, this game is over, they need to move now, do something different, then I will reveal my bag of tricks. That'll literally be a bag that they don't know what's in it. It's a little surprise, and you'll take one thing out of it at a time. So I'll start with the least engaging thing, which would probably be the book. So I'll give them the book first. When that doesn't work, I'll get out the drawing activity, and if they're done with that one, I'll get out the clay or the squishy toy, the sensory thing. And when my bag of tricks are done, that is a sign that they have now been in there long enough. And then I will actually take them out. And I will not take them out with a, you can't behave in church, so we have to leave. I will take them out with, wow, you read your book, you played with your crayons, you sat on my lap so sweetly. It's hard to be quiet in church, right? But you did a really good job. I would encourage them. Because a child sitting still for an hour is not a realistic expectation. Next time they will do even better. And when we keep changing up the activity pack that we take for them, they will get used to that routine. I'm going to be loved, I'm going to sing with my parents, I'm going to have a few things to keep myself busy with, and if I really can't stand it, we're going to go out. Church should be a place that is child friendly and child welcome, so make it so. So last little thing that should probably be in there would be their favorite soft toy or their favorite blankie or anything else that they associate with comfort that you can add on as another option. Have fun, and I promise, if your child screams in church, I will not even turn around. I will not, because we've all been there.